All right, Brantley here with GenAIPI, and it's time to install OpenClaw on our virtual machine that we have in Hetzner spun up. So with the last video, we installed and updated our virtual machine, made sure it was ready to go to receive OpenClaw. Now we can actually start the installation process of OpenClaw. And we're going to start with this command that's in the top, that's right here on the screen, is npm, which is why we needed the npm package. And we're going to install OpenClaw at latest. So the latest version of OpenClaw is what that means. And hopefully if the OpenClaw system and everything is working well, this should be a one command installation, which is pretty cool. And so we're going to let it think here. And then, so this is going to go pull the OpenClaw install file and everything, and make sure that we install the latest version of OpenClaw as it is today. I don't know what version exactly we're on today. It changes quite a bit, quite fast. There's a lot of community members working on the OpenClaw project, and now that it's technically kind of owned by Meta, I'm sure they have people in Meta that's working on it as well and making it, maintaining it well and everything. So at least we hope. And so it added 458 packages in 36 seconds. So hopefully you see a similar output. If not, take a screenshot or copy the text that's in your command or whatever errors you may have gotten and drop them in the ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm trying to install OpenClaw on my my Hetzner virtual machine, and I got this error. Help me fix it. And ChatGPT is going to help tell you the commands to help you fix that, hopefully. I will tell you this. I installed OpenClaw over 2 months ago when it was brand new and very buggy, and ChatGPT got me through it. It did not go this simple the last time that I tried. There was error after error, and I had to make sure that, there was different things I had to set up, and I was, ChatGPT helped me through it and helped me kind of navigate all those errors. So if you have any errors, it should be able to do the same for you. Whatever LLM of choice. I say ChatGPT because that's the one I normally use, but you can use Gemini or Grok, and they can do a lot of the same work with you. So now OpenClaw is installed. We are now there. Now we want to onboard and install the daemon. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's not demon, because that's spelled differently, but the daemon, that's basically the process that runs 24/7 in the background. You don't really see it, but that's the process that allows OpenClaw to kind of always be on, always monitoring. It's going to be able to be listening for those Slack messages that you're going to send to it, and it's going to be able to respond immediately. Otherwise, it'd be waiting for commands for you to get it running. So we need to have it run through a daemon process. And so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to say OpenClaw onboard install dash daemon. And now that it has the OpenClaw framework installed, it pulls up from OpenClaw now at this point. So you can see right here. Look at what we're getting here. There's all these funny little messages in here from OpenClaw. You're going to get used to seeing these guys. I don't judge, but your missing API keys are absolutely judging you. It's just funny tech talk, I guess. So they have this little image with some lobsters, super cool. OpenClaw setup, this is the security, and it's giving you a security warning. It's a hobby project, or at least it was. Now it's owned by Meta, so maybe it's kind of leveling up here a little bit. But if you're not comfortable with security hardening, access control, don't run OpenClaw. Okay, ask somebody experienced. You're talking to them, at least as experienced as you can be. AI can help you bridge the gaps now. You could totally copy this whole message into ChatGPT and say, hey, am I covering all my bases here? Am I using all these recommended baselines within my install? We don't have time on this tutorial to go through every single, piece here, but put this into ChatGPT and ask it, hey, help me run the commands to really see how my OpenClaw is installed on my virtual machine and see if there's any security gaps you can help me shore up, and ideas that you can help, options that you can give me. Tail scale is a big one. I thought about going through the whole tail scale thing to help you guys kind of have one more piece of security. And that's just going to take a little too long for this. You want to get OpenClaw up and running. It's not connected to anything really super secure at this point in time as you're just spinning it up, trying to just learn how to use it. But you can totally lock it down better by using AI and chatting with AI. And we'll probably get some more tutorials out for putting tail scale up and what that means. But for right now, we're just getting in there. SSH key is kind of a great way to just make sure you can only access the virtual machine. And then now we just got to make sure the OpenClaw within the virtual machine is locked down, and that's kind of what this is about. Yes, and there's also audits that you can run regularly, and you can actually have OpenClaw, the agent, run these on itself and then act on the report that you get. So OpenClaw security audit --deep, OpenClaw security audit --fix. These are commands that the bot itself can run, your OpenClaw itself can run, whatever model you're using. And you can also have it read the docs. So yes, I'm going to confirm that I understand this is a hobby project. Let's do we're going to do OpenClaw configure later. So let's just do a quick start. And so here we go. This is us configuring our OpenClaw. It's going to start walking you through these things so that you can fill these things out. And this is where those API keys are going to become important. You need your API keys to be able to have these models plugged into here. You can have multiple models. You can tell OpenClaw, hey, for easy tasks, I want you to use a Haiku model or a cheaper model or maybe a Gemini 2.5 Flash. For more heavier tasks like writing code or creating new skills, maybe you want to use your Anthropic model at that point, like an Opus 4.6, which is like the flagship latest one right now. And so you can kind of put these all in. Look at all these models that you can put into OpenClaw. I mean, the list goes on. Your Anthropic's kind of at the top of the line. You have your DeepSeek, which is, the open source one. You would have to be running this on a local machine. You have your Google, your Gemini keys. Hugging Face is a good way to use open source LLMs, so you can have Hugging Face plugged into your OpenClaw. Kimi as well is a great open source model. Olama is a good open source model as well. Moonshot is also, that's who owns Kimi. And so, yeah, you kind of like your options, you just keep arrowing down. You're using your keyboard here. You could skip for now if you don't have any model API keys, but you would need to come back and I could show you how to do that. But essentially, you're going to want to come up here and let's say OpenAI. That's a big one. Most people are probably going to maybe start with ChatGPT because it's the most well-known. Have your OpenAI developer account or, whatever it's called. I can't remember. And you have your API key to be able to use the models. And you're going to hit OpenAI and it's going to tell you, okay, OpenAI API key right there. You're going to hit enter. It's going to have you enter the API key. You're going to put the API key in here, whatever it is, the long one. And then, this is kind of just doing that. I'm just kind of messing around. And then you're going to do that. So I'm actually not going to mess this up right now. I don't want to put any API keys on here that's going to expose it to the internet. So I'm going to do Control C, and my setup is now canceled. Control C kind of gets you out of anything running within the command line interface. And so now I'm going to have to write this again to get back in. But, this is kind of teaching you how to navigate these things. So, yes, I understand. Yeah, let's do quick start. I'm going to skip this for now. This is where you would add your API key and kind of get to the end of that. And you can add multiple models, like I said, and API keys. Be aware of that. XAI is here too, Grok. So I'm going to say skip for now. So what this is asking for is asking what default model do you want your OpenClaw to use continually. A lot of you will probably only have one model at this point, but it is important to select the default one. So I actually probably should have filtered by OpenAI to show you, but Default right now for OpenClaw, I guess out of the box, is Opus 4.6 with Anthropic. Obviously, you'd want to change that to whatever model you put the API key in for. There's multiple models for every company. So you're going to want to make sure you choose the right model. Ask ChatGPT. Say, hey, this is what I want my OpenClaw to do. Mostly what model, I have my OpenAI model API key, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to use OpenAI models. Which models would you recommend I use for my default OpenClaw? And it's going to tell you, ChatGPT, whatever Pro or 4.5 or 5.4. I can't even remember the numbers now. They change pretty often, but the latest one might be you might want to be your default, or maybe you want the cheaper one to be your default, for this time. So I'm just gonna keep the default, keep current default. And now that we have our default model selected, we want to connect it to be able to talk to OpenClaw in other ways than just here in the virtual machine. Yes, technically you can talk to OpenClaw through the virtual machine, but it is very technical, very annoying. So there's a lot of other channels that you can work on here. Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp. A lot of people are using Telegram. It is a newcomer-friendly one, but I recommend Slack. I like Slack because a lot of people work with Slack. We work with Slack, and it's the one that I use. Telegram's kind of easy to do because you can get a quick API key from your Telegram account, and you can put that here and have that connection pretty quickly. We're going to use Slack, of course. Okay, so we're gonna kind of switch gears here and go get the Slack information that we need. But first, I just want to tell you, pound this home for you, is that any of these channels here, you can ask an AI LLM to help walk you through getting what you need to connect it. I'm going to show you the Slack one because that's part of the tutorial, but ultimately you could ask ChatGPT, hey, I want to connect Slack to my OpenClaw. Can you walk me through it? And it would help walk you through it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do this. I'm actually going to arrow down here and go to Slack, and I'm going to click it. It says needs tokens. Yes, I understand this. And look at this information we just got from this. And they've updated this since the last time I did this. So this is cool too. Look at this. It's got how channels work. It's got, DM security, approve with, public DMs require, whatever that is, multiple user DMs. They've updated so many things here. This is so cool to look at. Since I've configured mine, I probably need to reconfig mine and update some things with my Slack. But look at this list here as well. It gives you Telegram, gives you little excerpts for each one. Here's Slack supported socket mode, which is they didn't have this before, but now that I scroll down here, it's going to actually tell me Slack socket mode tokens. It's going to tell me how to get the tokens, which this was not here before. Again, I had to use an AI to kind of help walk me through some of this stuff, which this is so cool that they've kind of been updating their OpenClaw to help people get through this a little bit easier. So Slack API, create an app. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. We're going to use a manifest. Ooh, a JSON manifest. They're giving us a manifest right here. Look at this. This is our manifest that we're going to copy. This is going to be awesome. And then we're going to add socket mode, enable it to get the app level token. We're going to install app to workspace to get the XOXB token, which is going to be in your Slack workspace is what it's talking about. So when you have a Slack account, you have a workspace. That's where your team is working. That's where you and other people that you invite to the workspace will work. It might just be you right now, but you have a workspace when you have a Slack account. And you have a little program that's open. I'm going to show you on the Windows one because that's what I have, but you can also use Slack within the browser. So you're going to enable event subscriptions, socket for message events, and then app home, enable messages tab for DMs. Set Slack bot token and Slack app token in your ENV, and then docs, and then there's a Slack docs as well. So if we click this link control click, sorry, probably command click for you Mac folks. It has a whole documentation here now for Slack, and you can actually give ChatGPT this URL and say, hey, use this doc to help me set up my Slack for OpenClaw. And then you paste the URL. And now it's going to go to that URL and read it. And then it's going to give you directly from the official documentation of OpenClaw how to connect your Slack. This is awesome. Now, I want to point something out here that, it has this docs Slack that we went to and we started the ChatGPT thing, but it has this manifest JSON file that it has here. And let's read through some of this stuff, and I'm going to explain a little bit of it for you. I can probably, make this a little bit bigger. We don't want it too big. So let's see if we can have the whole thing shown. Not really, but close. So let's read this here. So we have display information, name, OpenClaw. This is basically, instead of you having to click through and select all the different scopes and things that the app, the Slack app needs, or OpenClaw needs the Slack app to have in order to be successful in working, it does it here for you. The OpenClaw team has this JSON here that will basically create your app for Slack just by pasting this in. So you're going to want to copy this from this top curly bracket all the way down to this last curly bracket. And once you have that copied, it's not going to be in the right format. See how this has these lines over here? It's kind of boxed in with this box, whatever box they put in this thing. That's going to also be copied in there. And so we're going to need to go to ChatGPT real quick, or your LLM of choice, Google, Gemini, Grok, and make this into a proper JSON manifest format. JSON format. You don't need to put manifest. What am I doing? And I'm going to paste that in here. And so, yep, pasted it in there, what we just copied from the command. And now it's going to clean it up for us. ChatGPT will. It's going to use all the data in there. It's going to put it in a proper JSON format. And now we can copy this. It doesn't work the other way. If you copy it from there and just try to go where we're going to go next, it's not going to work. So we have to go to, what did the tutorial say? It said we had to go to api.slack.com. So let's get there and exit out of this, exit and delete. We need to create a new app. And so we're going to create a new app, and we're going to do it from the manifest because we have a manifest. You're going to select your workspace, MVP Launcher. MVP Launcher was an old business of mine. Now it's shut down. It was a fun time. You can sign into a different workspace if you need to. So I'm going to use this one for tutorial purposes. Hit next. And then it's like, hey, put your JSON here. And like, oh, don't mind if I do. I have it right here. Control V or paste. And here we go. Got our JSON. And we say next. Perfect. So that worked out really well. Now we have OAuth. It's kind of just confirming everything that is there. And that we just put in through the manifest, and we're going to say create. And so now it's created that app now in Slack, and that's all we had to do is copy and paste that JSON manifest over to do it, which is awesome. OpenClaw is helping us out a ton. That saved us a lot of time going through and clicking all that stuff individually. Trust me. All right, so the app is now ready to be installed to our workspace. So now we've created the app. OpenClaw gave us all of, the manifest JSON. The JSON manifest gave us all the information we need. So, everything, socket mode is turned on. We can see that here. Where's the event subscriptions needs to be turned on so it can see events. There's also in app home, you need to have messages turned on so you can DM your OpenClaw. All that stuff is done for us now, which is awesome. So now we can go to install app, and we install it to MVP Launcher, which is the one that I'm using, it would say install to whatever workspace name you have, and we're going to install it. And of course, I'm going to keep it here, and MVP Launcher. It's going to say manage permissions. It's going to need all these permissions. We're going to allow it, and it's going to give us a bot token at this point. So now you're going to copy this and go back to the terminal. You're going to hit provide API token, which I think I already did on accident. Sorry. It says, how do you want to provide the Slack bot token? Select enter Slack bot token, which is the XOXB, which is what we just copied after we installed it. And now we're going to put that here, hit enter. And then we got to enter an app token. So I'm just going to hit enter here, and we need to go find the XApp token, which is cool, easy to do. Where is our socket mode? Nope, we need OAuth and permissions. Sorry. Trying to remember where to go for this. And then we need our nope. So that's our XOXB. Sorry, we need app tokens. Maybe it's under basic information. Yep, app level token. Sorry. It's under basic information, app level token. This is the other thing you would need. So app level tokens allow your app to use platform features that apply to multiple or all installations for your company, essentially. So features have distinct scopes, so request only the scopes for the features you need. Each app can have a maximum of 10 app level tokens at one time. So we got to generate this. We'll say OpenClaw tutorial. Add scope. We definitely want connections right. Let me check our ChatGPT thing real quick. I think that's what we at least need from here. We need connections right. Yes. So we have our connections right. Boom. We'll say generate. It's going to give us this XApp token. We're going to copy it. We're going to say done. We're going to go back over here. And we're going to hit in here. We're going to paste this. We're going to hit enter. Configure app channel, Slack channels access. And I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say open, allow all channels, because I'm going to delete this and this isn't going to be used. You'd probably want to have an allow list. So if you have a workspace and there's only certain channels you want your OpenClaw to be able to communicate within, you would then add it to the allow list. And if you had any new channels that you then wanted to add OpenClaw to, you can add that to the list and have OpenClaw itself add more channels to the allow list. So it's not hard to change that. The allow list is just more secure because anybody using that you invite to your workspace can technically open up a channel and start talking to your OpenClaw without your knowledge, because you're not, if they make it private or whatever, if you give them enough permission. So it's good just to have an allow list so it doesn't get crazy. We definitely use an allow list here, and that's what we recommend for ours. Again, I'm trying to give you guys security ideas. I'm not endorsing this as the perfect way that you will never get hacked, or that you're going to be like Fort Knox. This is basically to get you up and running, get you playing with it. You can then use other AIs to help you walk through how to more strictly enhance your security with OpenClaw. There's tons of things you can do to make it more secure. You can go crazy overboard. And remember this when it comes to security, that the weakest link is the human. So, humans getting phishing emails and stuff. And so the code is going to be pretty strict as long as you do basic stuff. But, the weakest link is the human. So this is what we recommend. You're not going to be Fort Knox by any means. We're not claiming or guaranteeing that you will not be hacked or anybody could get into your systems, but we are going to give you some tips and tricks of what we kind of done ourselves. And then you can take that as it is, and then you can actually go improve upon it and make your securities even more. So I'm going to say allow all channels. I would not recommend that, but that's what I'm going to do for the purpose of this tutorial. And then, okay, so it's got search providers now. That is where, when free web search fallback with no API key required. Okay, so I guess, it'll use DuckDuckGo by default, which is fine. I think we actually use Brave in for GenAIPI, and I think we also use Gemini, because Google search is also a good one. You can use Perplexity for this as well. I'm gonna actually say skip for now. And so yes, do we want to configure any skills now? And I am going to say, it says recommended, so let's say yes. These are the skills that are in the original vanilla package of OpenClaw. And so you can kind of read through these and see if there's any that you would like to install out the gate. It's got a GitHub one. It's got some Gemini, skills. It's got some Blog Watcher skills and 1Password for storing your passwords skill. You got Whisper in here from OpenAI for transcription. So you can see there's all these like skills that are kind of built in. I don't need any of these skills, so I'm going to say skip for now. When you come to these selection things, you press spacebar, by the way, at least for Windows, to select. You can like select multiple with spacebar, so just be aware of that. Just And so we're going to say skip for now, and then I'm going to hit enter. Set Google Places API key for geo places. No, not going to do that, but you can. You can have it to where it'll use Google Places API key. You can go set one up on the Google Cloud Console, and it would actually be able to use Go Places. I said geo places, but Go Places from Google Maps. I mean, that'd be a pretty cool feature. Set Notion. So if you have a Notion account, you can get an API key for that. You can set that up as well. Nope, not doing that for this tutorial. OpenAI API key for Whisper. So if you want to use Whisper for transcribing and talking back and forth with ChatGPT, you can totally get an OpenAI API key for that. I do use that for a companion app that I created where I can use my meta glasses to talk to our OpenClaw. Obviously, that's not the scope of this, but that's kind of just giving you an idea of what that may, what you could use that for. I'm going to say no. 11 Labs API key for SAG. No, we're not going to, that's not in the scope of this either. Hooks let you automate actions when agent commands are issued. So, save session context and memory when you issue new or reset. You can have these different hooks that it can use, and you can look that up, and you can actually copy this into ChatGPT and say, hey, talk to me about this more. What is this? Do I need this? I'm going to say my memory is kind of, at this point, it's pretty customized, and so I'm not going to get into all this. I've used my OpenClaw to build a lot of different things, and that's the beauty of this. I'm going to show you once we actually get to OpenClaw. I'll have you create a skill with your, through the OpenClaw itself, and that way you don't have to get into this configure thing every time you want to make a change or do something. So I'm going to say skip for now. We don't need hooks. We're kind of just making this vanilla, How do you want to hatch your bot? Yeah, so there is a web UI you can use, which will kind of, it's basically like it'll bring it alive and kind of like say, hey, what should you call me? Give me a name, and it kind of talks you through setting up kind of its configuration. So let's get this thing going. So we're going to do the hatch in TUI that they recommend. Why not? I went in and put in an API key so I can quickly show you guys kind of what it is when it starts up. So we're like, oh, wake up, my friend. We're going to get our little hatch-a-mole thing or whatever that it's going to do. So it's like, hey, I'm up. Looks like this is a fresh start. No memory files yet. And I still have my bootstrap.md, so I haven't had my first real conversation yet. So who are you and what should I call myself? This is kind of like the the gamified way of setting it up. Isn't this cool? It's kind of cool. You know, you're talking to it, you're giving it a personality, you know. So there's some magic to it for sure. And so, yeah, let's say, my name is Brantley. And you should call yourself Wayne. Wayne's my middle name, so why not? Wayne, I like it. Has a certain no-nonsense energy to it. Nice to meet you, Brantley. Let me get the paperwork sorted. Done. I'm Wayne. You're Brantley. We're in business. A few things I'd love to know as we go. What's your time zone? Okay, so now we're going to be configuring, you know, stuff that I was going to have you configure using OpenClaw anyways, but I was going to have you do it through Slack, but I guess we can do it through the command line interface. This is actually a pretty cool update to it. I did not go through this process to get mine started, so you're getting a much cooler wake-up process than I did. So what's your time zone? We are Mountain Time Zone. What are you working on? What do you mainly need help with? I need your help making $1 million per day. How do you want to reach me? Just here in web chat or through WhatsApp, Telegram too? I have already set up Slack channel. So yeah, and we are definitely not on a web chat. I mean, it started one up in the command line interface. We're definitely still in the command line interface, so you don't want to have to come here every time to talk to your OpenClaw. Much better to have it come to you. So, okay, Mountain Time noted. Slack is set up. Nice. I can work with that. As for $1 million a day, I mean, I respect the ambition. That's roughly $365 million a year, which puts you in serious business territory. I can genuinely help, but I need a little more to go on. Oh, crap. I think I might have started a conversation I did not want to start right now. I was kind of just joking around. What's the business idea? What are you starting from? Existing revenue? What does help look like to you? So this is kind of, you're going to be setting this up and be very forthright on what you're going to use OpenClaw for. I mean, what you're setting up here is kind of going to steer your OpenClaw to be transfigured or transformed in a way that's going to be the most useful for you. So the more context you can give it, the better. Obviously, this is for a tutorial. I'm going to shut this thing down as soon as we're done, but this is where you want to give it as much context as you can so that it's as helpful as it can be for you and your use cases. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. OpenClaw tutorials and teaching people about AI and how to use it. I am going to sell a course for $10. I don't know. Just making this up. I would like for you to help with all the above. Yeah, we'll be a little bit, I mean, we're going to build some specific skills. I do have to have you guys at least build one, have it build its own skill and show you guys. Man, I think it's going to keep going on and on about this $1 million a day thing. I'm sorry, guys. Might be funny to kind of watch, but course online first. Once you have a product, everything else has something to point at. Woohoo! Awesome. So that's cool. Yeah. So are we done with your setup? Let's just cut to the chase here. None of this is gonna stick anyways. I need to delete Bootstrap. It's my first run script. Not needed once we're up and running. Okay. Setup is done. I'm Wayne. You're Brantley. Everything's committed. Ready to get to work. Course outline. So it wants to build me a course outline now. That would have been great, a few days ago. Okay. I think we are in good space. Yeah, this is awesome. All right. So to get out of this, I'm going to do Control C, at least on the Windows. Probably Command C for you, Just keep pressing it until it gets you out and gets you down to that root at test server. And I'm actually going to exit out of this because we are done. That is the setup. OpenClaw is installed. It's running. Now I need to open up Slack and show you how to talk to OpenClaw via Slack. So I'm going to actually bring over my Slack channel here. And we can exit out of, yes, close all tabs. And we can open this up. And here I'm into Slack. We've already installed the app through the through here. You've already gone up to here and you installed the app that I have you do, and you got this token, and you've already given that to OpenClaw, so it's ready to go. Literally, like we just need to come in here, and now we need to add Jarvis, or not Jarvis. We call ours Jarvis. Sorry, that's why I keep saying that. We need to add OpenClaw to our Slack, and if you remember, the name of our app is OpenClaw, right here, and you can change that name here. But we're gonna, so in order to reference this, you have to say at OpenClaw. So that's what we're gonna do. And so I'm gonna say, put this bigger. I'm gonna say at OpenClaw, and it's not in the channel yet, so it's gonna ask us to add him, but or her if you want it to be her. But hey, are you there? And can you hear me? I don't know why I'm saying hear me when it's definitely words, but I'm going to say add them now. And so now they're added to the channel. Just like a bot, just like you would add a bot to channels, you add this. And so, and I'm just going to give it a second. It's like, oh, yeah, hey, Brantley, loud and clear, Wayne here. What can I do for you? See? So it knows it's named Wayne. It knows that we're ready to work. And so now you can start having it do all kinds of stuff. I know we were a little bit bare on the skills. I kind of kept it vanilla. There are a lot of skills out there. You can talk to ChatGPT or any LLM about it. It can find you skills on the internet. I will say, be very careful with public skills. There's already been proven to be a lot of malware skills out there. So be very selective in the skills you use. Make sure they're coming from reputable sources. And another pro tip that I do is I actually have OpenClaw, or my OpenClaw, I have it copy skills and not necessarily install skills. I actually have it go learn how the skill is made and then make its own version of the skill for us to use. And that's kind of the pro tip from GenAIPI there. Have it create its own skills, and then you're not worrying about installing malware, and you can get the same piece here. So any GitHub repository that has kind of like code that you can see that's public, your OpenClaw can go in there and see it and create a skill. And so I have a file that I had my Jarvis OpenClaw create that is a skill to create skills, essentially. Kind of just to, so when I say, hey, Wayne, create me a skill about this and learn about it here, or, I upload a document to say, hey, I want a skill that does this, or here's a document that I got, copy this skill and make it. It's going to make it a lot easier because I have this skill to make skills is essentially what it is. So I'm going to say at OpenClaw, read the attached and make a new skill based on the attached. And I'm going to go upload from computer and do my OpenClaw skill creation. And I'm going to say go. And so OpenClaw has access to be able to edit its files, create its own files within its own, framework. It has the ability to edit its different, we talked about what runs under the hood with OpenClaw. So it has the ability to edit its files under the hood, its sol.md document, its memory.md document. All of these things, it has the ability to kind of do and manipulate. So it's kind of like sky's the limit, outer space is the limit. I don't even know what you say. Your imagination's the limit is probably a better way to put it. So it's saying here, read the guide, solid methodology. One thing I need from you before I build, what should the skill actually do? The guide covers how to create skills but doesn't specify the domain. Do you want me to create a skill for a specific tool, API? Create a skill related to your course, business? Create a skill creator skill that encodes this guide so I can use it to build future skills? Yes, the third option. That is what I said. And I'll just be very precise here. Create a skill creator skill that encodes this guide. And since it's the only other, and you could add like rules to this. You can say, hey, Jarvis, you're only allowed to speak to my Slack ID. And it can totally find your Slack ID. And if anybody else tries to call the OpenClaw, I think I said Jarvis again. I'm so sorry, guys. If anybody tries to call the OpenClaw that's not your Slack ID, then your OpenClaw won't respond. You can put that, have OpenClaw put that as like a rule for Slack. You can start kind of using, I'm just giving you ideas of how to properly secure a little bit more even your OpenClaw than what it already is. So just another idea. You can totally go to, again, another LLM and ask them, how should we shore up? What kind of rules should I have my OpenClaw have to keep it more secure? All the above. And so, anyways, you know what I think happened here? I have it to where the OpenClaw only responds if I add it. So I'm going to say at OpenClaw again. Yes. See my response above. So yeah, I think by default that's the way it is. You can have OpenClaw help you kind of alleviate that rule to where maybe it listens for its name. So if you say Wayne anywhere, it'll also respond. We do have that with our Jarvis. And so anyway, see, now you can see he's responding here. So you have to add him. But your team could be invited to this channel and can be talking to your OpenClaw. You guys can get some stuff going. You can create, vibe code software that has an API that you create that your OpenClaw has access to. I mean, your imagination is really the limit. And hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Hopefully it gave you some things to think about. Hopefully you're in a spot where you feel confident now that you've got this OpenClaw up and running. You can kind of start building it out and putting things onto it and making it more secure and doing all the things. And so that's the goal here is to enable you ultimately. So my name's Brantley, again, with GenAIPI. You can find us at genaipi.org. We're the General AI Proficiency Institute, and this is what we do. We help enable people in the age of AI. Take care.